What is changing? What is shifting for China? Is Xi Jinping behind these shifts? Or is China as a whole shifting and changing? So Uranus entered, for China, Uranus entered into Gemini. This is the 5th house. And Uranus entered into Gemini in Xi Jinping's in the 12th house. 5th house could be speculation, taking chances, taking risks, taking a gamble on something. 12th house for Xi Jinping, it's his mind. Could be more spiritual for him, or changing his decision on things, having an aha moment on things that causes this shift and changes. Uranus was sextile to the moon in his chart. Uranus is sextile to the natal moon in Leo. Perhaps shift in direction about the safety and security for the country, for himself and the country. With China here at Uranus in the 5th house, it's taking a gamble, taking a risk, speculation. Perhaps Xi Jinping having thoughts, or maybe, I want to say, hidden enemies. Perhaps there's a thought about hidden enemies. Someone he feels maybe is trying to do something to the country, take over the country. And the speculation here is growing with those thoughts, trying to truly protect the country. Jupiter is here in the 6th house of Cancer in China, and Jupiter in the 1st house in Xi Jinping, expanding the protecting, wanting to truly expand how much China is being protected. Jupiter is next to Uranus in Xi Jinping's chart. That is expanding the shifts, expanding the changes. Something is expanding here in his chart, maybe expanding to want to protect China even more. Perhaps there's information that's disclosed to him behind closed doors, and it shifts how he wants to go about protecting China. Now, Jupiter next to Saturn, it merges the energies. So expansion, this could even be luck or something that's positive. Something luck, expansion next to this rebellion. Expanding the rebellion within the global dynamics. But something that is guided and geared towards protecting China. 6th house with Jupiter here in China's chart. The work, the people working, expanding. This could be the inflation is expanding for the people, having maybe to work more because something is expanding. Housing is expanding. Housing prices expanding. Daily living prices are expanding. Saturn, Neptune in China's chart is in the 3rd house. Communication. When they first entered in February of 2026, they first entered into this 3rd house. The communication is becoming more and more militant. Communicating within China itself, but also, within China itself, with also in the rest of the world with other global countries. Perhaps the words that they're using are becoming more militant, wanting to secure their place in the world. Feeling restricted in the words that they're using to communicate their ideas and what they want for the country itself, but yet having pushback from other countries and other leaders, having conflict with other global leaders, other world powers, and wanting to take action to protect and hold on to what they have at any cost. And that could be where this Jupiter next to Uranus is here, that I will do whatever it is, no matter what. Finding out new information suddenly shifts the trajectory and presents new information to make it that they have to shift their plans in order to protect China. For Xi Jinping's chart, it's in the 10th house. His leadership is changing and shifting. Maybe becoming more militant, having more rules, regulations, and restrictions in how he rules. militant military action. Pluto is in his 8th house next to natal Uranus. I mean, near the North Node. Okay, this is completely changing his. This is changing his leadership. Maybe it's changing his leadership style. Maybe there's something that happens along these next. Well, it's going to be 20 years with Pluto in the 8th house for him. Changes his objective. Changes how he's being a leader. Now, before he makes these changes and does what's right for all of China, for the people of China, not just to be in power, he's going to go through some challenges first. Because if he is a man who values having power, it's going to be difficult for him to give up the power. It's a power struggle we could be having. Power struggle of wanting to stay in power, not wanting to give up the power. But yet the direction for himself is to help people, lead people from a place that is for everyone, not just for the power for himself. So there's some intense power struggles here going through, and those will likely ripple out to China. Because if he is the leader, he's going to want to stay in power. And perhaps the power struggles are trying to show him and tell him that how he's leading and what he's doing is not good for China, that it's hurting them, and he needs to readjust the objective that he has. And maybe he feels that he does have the people in mind in his heart, but his actions are not showing that. And maybe deep down, he's not realizing subconsciously that he just is in love with power, not so much for the people, but for himself. And that will be changing, and that will be difficult for him. Unconscious thoughts coming up to the surface, him having power struggles with himself, power struggles for the country, but that will be a shift and a challenge for him that will spill out into his leadership. It could be China itself, the people of China. Where's the moon? The moon is at 29 degrees Leo. The people of China are not happy with the leadership. And it's the communication within the country, the people of the country, that are challenging the leadership of the country. People fighting back, and the power of the country fighting back against the people. Hence the militant moves, the military. Pluto is next to the ascendant and the moon. This could be a challenge. This is a power struggle, power for the people, the moon, and power for the leaders of the country. There is a shifting of power, and that is shown also in Xi Jinping's chart. He will go through some challenges trying to hold on to the power. The country itself will go through some challenges of the country, the heads of the country, leaders trying to hold on to power, but the people fighting back. This is back and forth of power. So with Uranus here in this 5th house in Gemini, it could be China itself that is going through a power struggle. The people having one opinion and view and wanting one thing to happen, and the heads of the country want something completely different, fighting back and forth in the actual country of China. Going to war with other countries, that could be a thing, that could be. And that could be, yes, they could want to not miss out on whatever's going on, and they take a gamble on sending military to different fights that are going on, or sparking a fight with other countries in order to gain more dominance. But with Saturn opposite the sun, this is the power, this is the struggle of the government trying to keep the control of the people, challenging the direction of the country, protecting the people, and not just the alliances that they have. People wanting a change and going for that change. With Mars here, opposite to natal Mercury, the people fighting with their words, with their voices, and eventually taking action. I see China having a struggle of power from the leadership, And those power struggles are going to continue to keep intensifying. Yeah, with the people really speaking up, starting, could be even violence against the people, violence against the leaders. But there's a tense fighting here within the country to change the ways, to shift it so the power lies within the people for the good of all and not just the good of the heads of the country. Uranus and Gemini, that could be them taking a gamble on taking action against other countries, especially when Uranus reaches this 5 degrees opposite its natal Chiron in the 11th house of Sagittarius, wanting to keep the country's freedom or expand their borders, expand the country itself. That will not be until 2027. So towards the end of 2027, that could be when things are growing more intense for China, expanding its borders, expanding its power, expanding the alliances that it has. Or there's an alliance that it has a falling out with, and that causes some type of fighting action with other countries. That's all I have for China. Xi Jinping. Let me know in the comments what you think of going on in China. If you're interested in a membership to my channel, the information is below. I would appreciate your support to continue the work that I do. And if you're looking for an astrology reading, my link is also in the description below. We can look at your chart, the themes for the upcoming year for you, or just different transits occurring for different decisions you are looking to make. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and share.